Hey folks, welcome to part 2 here of Let It Be's tutorial. So far we learned the intro, which looks like this. What we're going to learn in this section is the verse and the chorus. The lucky part for you is that the verse essentially is the exact same thing as the intro, with one small exception that I'll point out and show you. So literally for the verses, all you're going to do is do exactly what you've done for the intro, which is and on this section, instead of just coming down to these octave Fs like that with your left hand, what you're going to do, you've gone ba, ba, da, da, da. You're going to find these Fs, which are the octave Fs below middle C. You're going to strike them, boom, and then follow down this scale with your thumb, F, E, D, C, ba, ba, da. Now you can do it thumb, thumb, thumb octaves if you want, or you can go thumb, index, middle octaves. It really doesn't matter, however you like to do the fingering so that it fits well for, you know, your habits and the way that you play and all of that. I never have been the fingering police on all of this. I tend to do it with my thumb, like that, but it's really up to you. But that's the only difference, is that instead of just coming to, you add that little bit of extra, and it thickens it up a little bit. It's a little bit more, it's designed so that on the intro it's a hair more empty. And then in the verses, it's a little bit thicker and fuller. Okay? So, since we already learned the intro in part 1, I'm not going to go over every last part of it again, but I will play it slowly. I'll play this like we're doing a verse slowly a couple of times so you can see it. And then we'll move on to what we do in the chorus. A little slower here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? I'm going to do it slower once again. Oh, and by the way, for those of you who've been, you trolls out there, not you probably who's listening, most of you out there just listening and watching, trying to learn something, but for the trolls out there who are criticizing my technique because I have my fingers doing weird things like this, I just want to remind you, that's so that people can see which notes are being played. I think it gets a little bit confusing if I have all 5 fingers up like this. There's not a ton of contrast. If you look carefully, you can see which notes are being played and which aren't, but it's a lot easier if I'm going to play these 3 notes, to just move those 2 fingers out of the way. So, I don't even know why I'm responding. I don't really care that much, but I've gotten like 5 comments about that in the last 3 days, and, you know, generally speaking, it's probably from someone who doesn't need the tutorial and definitely doesn't have any social skills. So anyway, let's move on. One more time, really slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. At full speed, without my fingers all screwy, it's like this. Okay, so we've learned now how to do the. So what do we do when we go into the chorus? Let it be. Okay, so we are here on this C chord in the right hand and on octave C's in the left. So your left hand, let's take a look at that. 1, 2. So we were on C. 1, da, 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 da. So coming out of this little thing, da, 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 B, A, G, G, F, C, C, G, F, E, D, C. Okay, so again, let's come out of this. B, A, so B, A, G, G, F, F, C, 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 G, G, F, E, D, C. One more time, really slow with the left hand, then we'll look at the right hand and we'll play them together. So the right hand, we were here, we play ba. So we're on this C chord, bum, ba, bum, C. Then it's a G chord, B, D, G. And then we're simply playing quarter notes on an A minor, C, E, A, bum, 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 up to a G chord, D, G, B. So we went from A minor, 1, down to an F chord, C, F, A. Down to a C chord, C, E, G. C, G chord, B, D, G. Then back to this little maneuver that we learned. F chord, C, F, A, bum. Then it's E and G, D and F, and then C, E with a G in the thumb here. And actually, I tend to come up here, to this form of a C chord, but it's really just a C chord. It doesn't really matter that much if you play it here, or if you play it here, bum, bum, bum. I just like coming up here because it puts me a little bit closer to where I'm going in the next segment. So C, E, G, that's what we'll teach in this video. But remember, it's not like Paul McCartney played it an identical way every time he got to each section of the song and then has followed that pattern exactly live. That's not the way that he does things or did things. He's very kind of improvisational and doesn't like to get too regimented, actually. So one time he'd go, and another time he'd go, and another time he might go. You just never know. So I'm going to teach it one way, but just know that if you know the chords, you can play any inversion of them that you want, and it's going to sound right, because it's kind of a gospel-y sounding song in the first place, and gospel is definitely not in the box. So let's take another look at coming out of the verse. So we'll go ba, bum, 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 and right into the chorus. So 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time from the same spot. And one more time, good and slow like that. Same spot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Unkink the hands and we'll do it at full speed. But, man, I threw a little quirk in there. Let's do it the way we've been teaching it here. Okay, so that's through the chorus. So what I'm going to do, just so that you have a little bit of, what I'd call institutional memory here, I'm going to play from the introduction, which we learned in part 1, through the first verse and the second verse, which go right on top of each other, and then through a chorus. And then in part 3, we'll do the wrap-up. We'll learn the one other section that we haven't actually covered, and we'll string the whole song together for you. But just so that you have something to go on here, starting with the intro, it looks like so. Second verse. Chorus. Okay. So that's where we are up to this point, and in part 3 we'll learn the last little bit of the song that we haven't talked about, and then we'll string those sections together and show you how to make the entire tune out of it. So thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Remember, if you're not having fun when you're making music, you're doing it wrong, and I will see you in part 3 and hopefully a whole lot of other song tutorials. Take care, gang. Bye-bye.